10 couples, 10 stories, and one of them will shock you. These are true love stories from Europe and the US. Bold, emotional, and unforgettable. Some last for decades, others end abruptly, but each one changes the way we look at love. Couple 3? No one expected that. Let's explore the secrets and surprises behind these stories. They weren't the most flashy couple, nor did they steal the red carpet or headlines. But in that quiet space, a beautiful love story unfolded, told through glances, small moments, and a life built together, away from the noise. Today, let's explore the captivating and inspiring love story of Richert Schnorr and B.D. Wong. B.D. Wong is a name many of you may recognize. He's an acclaimed actor with an extraordinary career, known for his roles in Law & Order SVU, Jurassic Park, and Mr. Robot. His talent is undeniable. But beyond the stage and screen, B.D. is a thoughtful man, a man who combines art and intellect. Richert Schnorr, on the other hand, isn't a celebrity in the traditional sense. He works in digital and creative marketing, and he's known for his refined taste and quiet confidence. Together, they make a solid, sophisticated, and incredibly genuine couple. They met more than a decade ago, and their connection was instant. Not the flashy, movie-like kind, but something more solid and rich. As B.D. has shared in interviews, their relationship developed slowly and deliberately. They built trust bit by bit, always respecting each other's individuality. And in a world where celebrity couples often flare up and fade quickly, Richert and B.D. chose a different path, a quiet persistence. After more than 8 years together, they married in 2018. It wasn't a flashy Hollywood wedding. Instead, it was elegant and intimate, a celebration that reflected who they truly were. Friends described the ceremony as beautiful and thoughtful, with meaningful vows that spoke of a shared journey, not a fairy tale. It's this deep feeling that makes their story so special. When they appear in public, whether at a Broadway premiere, an LGBTQ+ gala, or an intimate dinner in New York, the way they interact with each other exudes a calm, almost poetic rhythm. No fanfare, no gimmicks, just two men who clearly respect and support each other. And maybe that's why so many people admire them. What's also notable is how they use their platforms. Rather than chasing fame, they focus on uplifting their community. B.D. has long been an advocate for diversity and representation in the arts, and Richert has always been there for him, not as a shadow, but as an equal partner. Their relationship shows us that being a public couple doesn't mean losing yourself. It means growing together, supporting each other's passions, and maturing in ways that elevate both of you. Their story is a reminder that LGBTQ+ love comes in many forms: passionate, playful, dramatic, quiet, intellectual, lifelong. Richert and B.D. represent the kind of mature, mutually respectful partnership that often gets overlooked in flashy headlines. Yet their impact is profound. They show that love doesn't have to be loud to be heard. Sometimes love simply speaks through presence, loyalty, and time. Here at our channel, we're passionate about bringing you stories like this. Stories that spark conversations, inspire hearts, and celebrate the beautiful diversity of love. So, what part of their story resonates with you the most? Is it their quiet presence? Their long journey together? Or how they've built a life based on mutual respect? Hit that like button if their story resonates with you. And don't forget to subscribe for more meaningful LGBTQ+ love stories from around the world. Because here, we're not just telling stories. We're creating a space where love, in all its forms, is celebrated and appreciated. There are love stories that take place in silence, away from the public eye. But there are also stories that explode like fireworks. Brilliant, unforgettable, and impossible to look away from. Tonight, we will explore one of those spectacular stories. The whirlwind romance of Colton Haynes and Leatham. A love that made headlines, exploded on social media, and in a brief moment made millions believe in fairy tale miracles. Before we dive in, I want to ask you something. Where are you watching from? Let us know your country in the comments. I love how these stories connect people from all over the world. And if you're new, welcome to our growing community. We share inspiring love stories that spark meaningful conversations. Colton Haynes is already a familiar face to millions. With his piercing eyes and undeniable charisma, he's made his name on hit shows like Teen Wolf and Arrow. Jeff Leatham, on the other hand, is a behind-the-scenes star, a world-renowned floral designer known for his lavish floral arrangements for celebrities and luxury events around the globe. When they met in early 2017, it wasn't just a meeting of two lives. It was like two worlds colliding: Hollywood glamour and exceptional artistic talent. Their romance progressed quickly. Jeff proposed to Colton on a romantic trip to Mexico, with fireworks lighting up the night sky. Yes, literally. Cher, the iconic icon herself, recorded a special message to play during the proposal. It was lavish, emotional, and perfect for two men who weren't afraid to show their love. Just a few months later, in October 2017, they tied the knot in Palm Springs in a wedding that seemed straight out of a Hollywood fairy tale. Imagine it: hundreds of flickering candles, gorgeous floral arrangements, and a star-studded guest list. Their best friend, Kris Jenner, officiated the ceremony with flashbulbs and guests in awe. In that glorious moment, Colton and Jeff pledged their forever vows, amidst glamour, romance, and the world watching. But as anyone who has ever been in love knows, fairy tales don't always work out the way we dream. Just 6 months after their glamorous wedding, the news of their split came. Sudden, heartbreaking, and unexpected. For fans, it was a shock. Behind the glamour were two real people, struggling with real struggles away from the spotlight. In the months that followed, Colton opened up about his personal struggles, growing up, and healing. Jeff remained calm, focused on his work, and showed love and respect for Colton even during their breakup. They eventually reconciled in a short period of time, proving that love stories, however short, can be layered, filled with hope, heartbreak, and tender moments that don't always make headlines. Theirs is not defined by length but by intensity. It's the story of two men who dared to love openly, boldly, and beautifully. In an instant, they made the world stop and watch. And that's why this story stands out. It's not about celebrities, weddings, or social media. It's about vulnerability. About the courage it takes to say, "This is who I love," to the world, and to navigate both joy and pain gracefully. In the world of celebrity love stories, some stories read like scripts, while others unfold like beautiful, unpredictable novels. The story of Elliott Spencer and Stephen Fry falls into the latter category: authentic, layered, unexpected, and deeply moving. Stephen Fry is a name that almost everyone in Britain and even further afield knows. A brilliant comedian, writer, actor, and intellectual. A man whose talents have lit up stage and screen for decades. But behind that legendary voice and quick wit is a man who, for years, believed that love might have been lost. Then Elliott Spencer came along, a young stand-up comedian full of life, energy, and sharp wit. He was not intimidated by Stephen's fame or his intellect. Instead, he matched, not with competition, but with humor, warmth, and genuine curiosity. Where others saw a cultural icon, Elliott simply saw Stephen. Their love story began quietly in 2014. Two men from different generations found themselves drawn to each other not by glamour or status, but by a shared laugh. Stephen once said, "Elliott makes me feel younger, and life with him is filled with laughter." That simple statement captures the essence of their relationship. Think about it, a 30-year age gap. To many, that might seem unusual, But for Stephen and Elliott, age has never been a barrier, it's a bridge. Elliott brings the fun, the freshness that fuels Stephen's passion for exploration, while Stephen brings the wisdom, the stability, and the deep love of culture that inspires Elliott. In January 2015, the world was surprised, in the best way, when they announced their engagement. It wasn't a Hollywood extravaganza. It was simple, elegant, and incredibly meaningful. In the heart of Norfolk, England, surrounded by close friends and family, they promised to share their lives, proving that love doesn't follow a schedule. It writes its own timeline. And what's even more amazing is how they've stood by each other ever since. Whether appearing together at public events, supporting each other's work, or sharing candid moments on social media, their relationship exudes authenticity. It's a story of two souls, two hearts, and two very different walks of life, blended together in perfect harmony. The couple has become a powerful symbol across Europe and beyond, not just because of Stephen's fame, but because their love represents something bigger. The meeting of wisdom and joy, experience and curiosity, past and future. They remind us that love is not defined by numbers, but by laughter, shared in everyday moments. Because in the end, stories like Elliott and Stephen's aren't just entertaining. They make us stop and think. They remind us to cherish the people we love, the laughs we share, and the unexpected paths that lead us home. So wherever you are, whoever you are, remember, love isn't defined by age, expectations, or labels. It's defined by genuine connection. If this story touches you, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we have so many more true love stories waiting for you. In the city that never sleeps, where dreams echo through historic theaters and neon lights tell endless stories, there is a love that doesn't scream. It grows quietly. It's nurtured in rehearsal rooms, shared houses, and under the soft lights of Broadway. This is the story of Spahn and Michael Urie, a couple who created something rare and meaningful in the heart of the New York art scene. Michael Urie first captured the public's hearts with his sharp wit and charisma in the play Ugly Betty. Meanwhile, Spahn is forging his own path as an actor and writer, respected for his intelligence, honesty, and creative vision. When their worlds collided, it wasn't through tabloid drama or some glitzy Hollywood event. It was through the shared language of theater, a space where vulnerability and imagination met. Their relationship blossomed quietly, no fancy announcements, no publicity stunts, just two artists falling in love while pursuing their craft. And that's what makes their story so powerful. They not only loved each other, but they created together. Ryan wrote the screenplays that Michael regularly incorporated into his films, both as an actor and director. They shared the stage, collaborated on independent projects, and supported each other's careers without overshadowing each other. It was a delicate dance, and they made it look easy. While many celebrity couples thrive in the spotlight, Ryan and Michael chose a different rhythm. They built a reputation in New York's LGBTQ+ art scene as a strong, quiet couple, deeply respected by their peers. Their home has become a creative hub, a place where ideas thrive, laughter resonates, and love seamlessly blends with work. And here's what I love about them. They've never considered themselves icons. They don't need to. Their authenticity speaks louder than any label. They've been together for years, long enough to see trends come and go, shows rise and fall, but their bond remains strong. In a world where fame often tests relationships, their story is about collaboration, trust, and shared purpose. Have you ever witnessed a couple whose connection inspires you without them having to say a word? If so, drop it in the comments. Let's talk about the quiet, heartfelt relationships that shape lives behind the scenes. Ryan and Michael represent a love that flourishes not through attention, but through intention. Their story reminds us that the strongest relationships often blossom in the spotlight and end up lighting the way for others. As New York stages continue to evolve, their presence is that love and creativity can not only coexist, but elevate each other. They've proven that two people can build an artistic legacy together without losing their individuality. Their journey isn't a fairy tale filled with twists and turns. It's a beautiful, ongoing story written with patience, respect, and shared dreams. And that's why the story of Ryan Spahn and Michael Urie is so important. It's about more than just being together, it's about building a life and leaving a lasting mark. Stay tuned, because next we'll be exploring another unforgettable love story, each with its own rhythm, its own magic. We love bringing these stories to life, sparking meaningful conversations and celebrating the diverse colors of love in our community. Some love stories don't need the spotlight to shine. They don't need red carpets, headlines, or perfect press releases. Instead, they grow quietly and steadily, like ivy around an old stone wall, strong, resilient, and quietly beautiful. Today we'll explore one of those rare stories, the graceful, timeless love story between Victor Garber and Rainer Andreesen. Victor Garber, a name many of you will recognize instantly. From Titanic to Argo to countless stage performances, he has been a part of the culture for decades. His on-screen presence has always been strong, calm, and dignified. But off-screen, his personal life has been guided by the same quiet strength. And then there's Rainer Andreesen, a talented artist, painter, and model from Canada. Elegant, thoughtful, with a creative soul, a perfect fit for Victor's artistic world. They met years ago, at a time when same-sex relationships in Hollywood weren't always warmly welcomed. But their connection is undeniable. More than 16 years later, they're still together, living a life defined not by fame, but by moments spent together. Their hometowns lie between New York and Vancouver, two cities that reflect their personalities. New York offers them the excitement of theater, museums, and the buzz of creativity. Vancouver offers peace, open spaces, and a deep connection with nature. Together, they moved easily between these worlds, attending art exhibitions, gallery openings, and theater debuts, not as celebrities performing, but simply as two people who truly loved art and each other. Unlike many other celebrity couples, they chose not to have children. And that choice, far from overshadowing their story, gave them the freedom to shape a life filled with travel, creativity, and meaningful companionship. Their relationship was built on quiet rituals, sharing morning coffee, strolling through Central Park, enjoying evenings surrounded by oil paintings and music. And perhaps that's what makes their story so powerful. It's proof that deep love doesn't need to be ostentatious to be true. Their relationship's a reminder that LGBTQ's love comes in all shapes and sizes. Some are fierce and loud, some are tender and deep. Both are beautiful. You know, sometimes the most inspiring relationships are the ones that don't have anything to prove. They just exist, day after day, with loyalty, tenderness, and a shared purpose. What about you? Have you ever witnessed a couple whose love isn't flashy, but leaves a deep impression on you? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. As we continue, remember, every love story has its own rhythm. Some dance in the spotlight, others whisper in the quiet corners of art galleries and theaters. We will continue to bring you meaningful and inspiring LGBTQ+ stories that celebrate love in all its forms and spark authentic conversations within our community. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next story is just as exciting. Hollywood romances often feel like constellations, brief, brilliant, unforgettable. And among them there was once a couple who conquered the world with their elegance, star power, and undeniable chemistry. I'm talking about the unlikely but magnetic bond between Luke Evans, the Welsh-born Hollywood actor best known for his roles in The Hobbit and Beauty and the Beast, and John Kortajarena, the Spanish supermodel whose name has dominated the runways of Milan, Paris, and New York. When these two worlds collide, it's like cinema meets high fashion under the brightest spotlight imaginable. Luke, a rising movie star with a sultry, poised presence, and John, a model whose face defined an era, became more than just a couple. For a time, they were known to fans as the Golden Boys. Their story began quietly. Away from the red carpet and flashing cameras, the talk of their romance began in 2014. Initially, it was almost legendary. Two highly successful men from two completely different worlds in showbiz finding each other amid international fame. For the LGBTQ+ community, their relationship was more than just talk. It was a presence. It was proof that love stories could flourish in the same glamorous space where straight love stories dominated the headlines. They shared moments that made fans swoon. Strolling hand in hand through the streets of Europe, attending exclusive fashion events together, and posting subtle but meaningful snapshots of their lives on social media. There was a natural ease between them. John's bubbly personality seemed to complement Luke's calmer, more introspective charm. It was unpretentious. It feels real, modern, and romantic. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever looked at a couple and thought, they're so compatible? That's the kind of chemistry Luke and John share. Whenever they're together, every candid photo looks like a magazine cover. Every casual moment feels naturally iconic. They don't have to force it. It just happens. But like many great stories, theirs wasn't meant to last forever. After a few heady years, their relationship finally ended. It wasn't a dramatic Hollywood breakup. There were no public blowouts, no media storms. Instead, it faded gracefully, like the final scene of a beautiful movie, leaving fans nostalgic, but also grateful to have witnessed it. Their relationship may have been brief, but its impact was profound. For LGBTQ+ fans around the world, seeing two strong, openly gay men embrace love without fear in spaces traditionally not open to them was meaningful. It wasn't just celebrity glamour, it was representation. It was seeing love boldly exist in a world that often tries to keep it hidden. And you know what? That's the magic of these stories. Each one has a different tone, a different rhythm, a different pulse. Some last a lifetime, others are a single emotional chapter. But each one adds up to a larger picture of presence that inspires millions today. What do you think of Luke and John's story? Have you followed their journey so far? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. In Hollywood, where headlines often blare about breakups and scandals, it's rare for a love story to shine quietly, steadily, beautifully. One of those stories belongs to Scott Icenogle and Sean Hayes, a couple who didn't need drama to conquer the world. Instead, they won hearts with humor, talent, and a love that was incredibly genuine. Sean Hayes, you may remember him as the quick-witted Jack McFarland on the iconic sitcom Will and Grace, was unforgettable. But behind the camera, Sean's real-life love story was just as captivating. Scott Icenogle is more than just Sean's husband. He's a talented composer, producer, and musical storyteller. Together, Scott and Sean are a couple who don't just live in Hollywood. They make magic there. They are companions in life and art, transforming ordinary moments into extraordinary ones. Their paths crossed in the entertainment world, but their bond went beyond the script and stage. They shared a love for music, comedy, and the little things, the inside jokes that only two people who are truly on the same page can understand. Their relationship grew quietly, without fanfare, without fuss. And that's exactly what made it special. In 2014, after 8 years of supporting each other wholeheartedly, Scott and Sean decided to take their relationship to the next level. They got married. No Hollywood fanfare, no tabloid coverage, just a simple celebration of love, honesty, and commitment. What set them apart wasn't just the length of their relationship, it was the quality of it. Watch any of their performances together or any of their music videos and you'll see it. The witty banter, the mutual admiration, the way they naturally mesh like two musicians playing the same tune. They've brought laughter to millions, not just through choreographed performances, but also by being themselves. Their relationship is a joy incarnate. It's witty, warm, and deeply honest, like a romantic comedy without a director. And maybe that's why audiences love them so much. They represent something beautiful in the LGBTQ+ community. Love that's built on humor, creativity, and respect. In an industry where love stories often flare and fizzle, Scott and Sean are proof that love can be both gentle and lasting. Where are you watching this video from? Let us know your country in the comments below. What have you thought of Scott and Sean's story so far? Does their playful dynamic remind you of any couples in your life? We'd love to hear your thoughts. As we move on to the next story, remember, our goal here isn't just storytelling. We want to create a space where love stories inspire conversation. A space where anyone, anywhere in the world, can share laughter, emotion, and the power of genuine connection. Because at the end of the day, these stories aren't just about celebrities. They're about people. People who love, laugh, and live their authentic selves. Stay tuned, because the next couple's journey is equally inspiring. Different in color, but equally strong in heart. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the discussion. We're building a community where every story matters. When it comes to enduring love stories in the LGBTQ+ community, there's one couple who often quietly stands in the background, never loud, never scandalous, but always radiant. Their journey began long before same-sex marriage was legalized, before rainbow flags were everywhere, and before Hollywood learned how to tell gay stories properly. I'm talking about Scott Gill and John Barrowman, a couple who, for more than 3 decades, have embodied the power of love lived openly, joyfully, and authentically. John Barrowman, actor, singer, presenter, first met Scott Gill in 1993 after a stage performance in London. John was already famous, while Scott, an architect and theater enthusiast, led a quieter life. Their worlds collided almost by accident, but sometimes it's accidents that write the best love stories. What started as a backstage conversation quickly blossomed into something deeper. A bond built on shared laughter, mutual respect, and a love of art. Remember, this was the early 90s. The media wasn't kind to same-sex couples. Paparazzi hounded them, the press ridiculed them, and many celebrities chose to stay out of the public eye. But John and Scott did something different. They didn't hold a press conference. They didn't make a grand announcement. They simply lived their lives together, openly, lovingly, and unapologetically. And the world took notice. In an era where even holding hands in public can be controversial, these two still appear together, at premieres, events, vacations, like any other couple in love. No drama, no scandal. Just genuine affection. Over the years, John began sharing their everyday moments with fans. Sunny afternoons on boats, behind-the-scenes moments, quiet family gatherings, and trips around the world. These moments weren't staged to impress. They were windows into a real, lasting partnership. And audiences responded with enthusiasm. Fans didn't just admire John as a performer. They loved them as a couple. Their civil partnership in 2006 in England and their subsequent wedding in California in 2013 were not big shows. They were memorable milestones in a love story that has stood the test of time. While other celebrity relationships come and go in the spotlight, John and Scott built theirs on trust, shared experiences, and deep friendship. To this day, after more than 30 years together, they remain one of the most admired and enduring gay couples in international entertainment. They have proven that same-sex love doesn't need to be flashy to be meaningful. It can be quiet, it can be lasting, it can be simple and sincere. And perhaps that's why their story resonates so deeply. Because in a world where everything seems so ephemeral, their relationship reminds us that true love doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be sincere. I'd love to know what country you're in and how stories like John and Scott's resonate with your culture. Does their quiet, enduring love inspire you the way it inspires so many of us? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's make this story more than a story. Let's build a conversation. And if you've enjoyed this journey, stay tuned, because we'll explore another love story that shaped LGBTQ+ history in a completely different way. We always want to bring you meaningful, inspiring stories from around the world, stories that spark connection and celebrate love in all its forms. So, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's continue this wonderful conversation together. There is a love story that is not flashy. It simply exists, quietly, steadily, and beautifully. And in the turbulent world of Hollywood, where relationships are often as fleeting as a red carpet premiere, the relationship between Chris Colfer and Will Sherrod stands out as a ray of calm in the storm. Chris Colfer first captured audiences' hearts as Kurt Hummel on Glee, a brave, witty, emotional soul who inspired millions of young people to embrace their true selves. But in real life, Chris is not a character. He is quietly building a true love story of his own. In 2013, at the height of his fame, Chris met Will Sherrod, a talented film producer and former actor with a quiet charm. Unlike the headlines Hollywood often likes, their relationship did not make the tabloids. There were no staged photo shoots, no scandals, no public spectacles. Instead, what emerged was something rare, a relationship built on privacy, trust, and shared dreams. While many celebrity couples chase the spotlight, Chris and Will chose to protect their relationship. They appeared together at a few public events, Oscar parties, premieres, always together, but never ostentatious. Fans noticed their natural ease, their soft smiles, Chris's soft gaze around Will. It was subtle, and that made it all the more powerful. As the years passed, as Glee ended and Chris's career shifted to writing novels and producing films, Will was always there, not in front of the camera but behind it, cheering him on. They celebrate birthdays together, share holiday photos discreetly on Instagram, and build a life that's authentic and uncomplicated. What makes their love story special is its quiet strength in a world that often celebrates chaos. More than a decade later, Chris and Will are still happily together. No scandals, no drama. Just two people choosing each other over and over again with quiet devotion. And honestly, in today's world, that kind of love is rare and precious. Many fans say Chris and Will represent a different kind of Hollywood couple. One that proves you don't need constant promotion to have something meaningful. Their story especially resonates with younger fans who grew up watching Chris on Glee. For them, seeing someone they admire build such a strong, lasting relationship gives hope that even in the glare of fame, true love can still exist. As we explore more stories like this, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think of Chris and Will's journey? Does their quiet love inspire you? Their story reminds us that not all love shines like fireworks. Some shine like a warm, steady candle. And sometimes that's the kind of light that lasts the longest. Before we wrap up, I'd love to know, of all the stories we've shared today, which one touched your heart or inspired you the most? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. And let's celebrate love in all its beautiful forms together. And that concludes our journey of discovering 10 amazing gay couples from Europe and the United States. Some are still together, others have gone their separate ways, but each has an inspiring story. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for more meaningful stories like this. See you in the next video.